So let's get into it. Ja Morant.
When sports are life and life is sports, I'm James Simmons and I got 5 on it.
This is a take that I've been wanting to do for a minute, but I did not want to jump into it too soon. It's been well documented. Ja was suspended by the league for 8 games. He went into treatment for some issues that are really unbeknownst to us. We really don't know what those issues were. He mentioned some stress, some anxiety, and all of this came to light as a result of patterns of behaviors that he's been displaying for some time now. You know, there was an incident where he was alleged to get into a fight with a teenager that he was playing ball with at his house. There was a mall incident where he went to the mall because someone had stepped to his mom's. There was an incident at a school that someone had stepped and used some language towards his sister. And then there was the latest event, flashing a gun on Instagram live while partying at a strip club in Colorado after a basketball game. So all of these things led to him self-admitting to some treatment in Florida, where he learned some techniques to deal with anxiety, stress, all those things related to, I guess, him not really understanding how to deal with his fame, his stardom, his wealth, and who he is as, you know, potentially, you know, one of the, or if not, you know, the face or next face of the NBA. I found a lot of things very interesting, I'll say that. You know, as a person who has worked with young people for over 20 years in the field of drug and alcohol, homelessness, mental health, his patterns of behavior were very, very online with lots of the youth that I've worked with. And the majority of the youth that I've worked with did not have the addition of fame, fortune, stardom, and all of those type of things that Ja Morant finds himself having and being fortunate to have. A lot of the kids I come from or work with have come from environments where there's lots of gang activity, lots of drugs, alcohol, you know, unstableness in the home. Not saying that one or the other is less conducive to these similar behaviors, but they are coming from different perspectives, okay? But nonetheless, I still found it very, very interesting, some of the things that were going on, the lack of supports that a person of his access did not have the resources to deal with this sooner than later, especially as the incidents started to compound and add one on the other, and also knowing that the spotlight is on you more so than some others, okay? He has his dad who regularly travels with him to away games. You see, you know, Ja Morant at pretty much every game, courtside, chopping it up with the celebs. You know, you name it, he's there, right? So that father figure. And then you have the team officials, right? Every resource at their disposal, you would think that they would want to give this to their young star so that he has the proper supports in place so that he doesn't succumb to some of these things. And again, this is not to take away any of the responsibility from Ja, because he is a man, okay? Albeit a young man who has very limited life experience. And we know some of the greatest learners in life is just the experience of falling down and having to get back up, right? So that's a normal progress or not normal process that we've all experienced at one point or another. But there's been a lot of talk about the treatment that he received. And, you know, again, coming from a perspective or coming from a place where this is my line of work, I can understand some of the naysayers, you know, I guess the validity or the effectiveness of his treatment, right? I look at it more, as a treatment, but I look at it more as an intervention. I look at it as someone who may have tried to get in front of a lot of the things, not necessarily because of the behavior, but because of the repercussions. And in his interview, or the times that he had spoke very early about these things, that's what I gathered from it. You can call that from inexperience, youthfulness, not fully understanding the scope of what he's been going on, what's been going on, and how this relates to his life, not just the stardom, the money, you know what I'm saying, but him as an individual and needing to get better. That's what I hope that he received from this episode of treatment and ongoing, all right? Because we're not healed in 7 to 10 days. Hopefully he's gained resources during that time where he could use those tools to further getting better as an individual, surrounded himself with people that will help him on that path, so on and so forth. His father recently went on, I'm not exactly sure where he went, but made a comment that, he takes all of this responsibility on his shoulders because he's the dad, so any failures from his kids is his failure. I understand that. I would have liked to have seen that earlier, right? And this is, I guess, the skeptic in me, because this was a well orchestrated public relations type of address, okay? You had Nike, you had the NBA, you had other sponsors really backing this young guy because of all of the outside things that are going on, and I would say business related, right? Because this is what I've seen, and I've seen it with folks that are not superstars as well. Individual that young, if they have resources, and when I say resources, I mean financial backing and people of name and credibility behind you that will speak up for you, this is what happens. You get 7 to 10 days of an intervention, and then you're able to move on with limited consequences because of those actions. A lot of the youth that I've worked with don't have the luxury of having the resources behind them to get that type of opportunity. You mess up, you get on probation, you go to juvenile hall, youth center, whatever it may be, but similar behaviors would get them more severe consequences. So for me, that's the thing that really bothered me the most, is that similar behaviors, depending on your economic status, you are getting consequences that are very different. That's the big thing that bothered me with this whole situation. If we're going to allow a 23-year-old superstar NBA player to have access to that type of support and treatment, we need to have all of our 23-year-old children, and I use the word children because they are young people, they still need a lot of guidance, their brains are still developing, need the same opportunities. So good for you, Ja. I want you to succeed. Please do not take this as me saying you need to fail. I want you to succeed, but I want all of our young people to succeed, to have the same opportunities, because we are young, we do make mistakes. Experience is probably our best, teacher of life, and we still need older people with more lived experience than us to be able to help and guide us along our way. So the older people around them have to get better as well. So again, I've been wanting to do this take for a minute. I'm glad to be able to shed a little bit of my perspective and give you 5 on it. Do good, Ja. Society, let's also do good by the rest of our young people and give them an opportunity, as did Ja Morant got. I got 5 on it. See y'all on the next take. And remember, fatherhood is a journey you don't have to do alone, so don't here at Adapting, we're here to help you on your journey as you help me on mine. Peace.